The other day, we found out some sad news about one of the baby peregrine falcons living atop the city skyline had passed away. Now, there are a whole host of people in Rochester who watch these birds and love to track their movements and everything. The falcon Bronx was found injured outside of one of the wells in the Times Square building. On its website, the Genesee Valley Audubon Society says Bronx had to be put down because of the severity of his injuries. And joining us on the phone now is the owner of the Times Square building where the falcons live. Richard Calabrese joins us by phone. Richard, thank you for joining us. This is Norma Holland. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
So we're sorry to say, when we heard the news, I think a lot of people were really bummed about this because they've been watching these falcons and remember when they were born. And let's see, Bronx had two other siblings, right?
Two or three. Honestly, I'm not even sure.
Uh-huh. What did you think when you heard about this?
Well, I found the bird in part of the structure of the wings, and I think he had gotten trapped. When I saw it, I was sad. Of course, who wouldn't be? Because it was struggling. It couldn't get onto its feet to fly. So first thing I did is I called Jenny Landry at the DEC, and she went right into action, contacted her folks, and they came out. But yeah, everyone's sad about it.
What I'm reading is that the injuries were too severe. The injuries were to his digestive tract. I think there was some, and that there was a spinal cord injury as well.
That's what they told me.
Yeah.
I know when I found him, he was trying to use his wings to scurry across the floor, but he couldn't move his legs at all. So,
yeah. There's a lot of hope for these birds when they're born, aren't they? I mean, that they'll continue on. And there's the falcon cam up there, right? I mean, people watch these birds. I mean, this is a pastime, something to take very seriously.
From what the Audubon tells me, they watch from all over the world.
Wow.
And, yeah, I've heard Britain and countries throughout Europe, and I know all over the country. And I know there's a lot of people, including folks in the Times Square building, that watch these cameras closely.
What is it about these falcons that people just find so endearing and so irresistible?
You know, my guess is that they're a wild bird, and they're not usually seen in a city or an urban setting. So that's part of it, I think.
Mm-hmm. So they're sort of the wild bird that decides to set up shop, you know, in a well-known building in downtown Rochester. You must be glad it's probably brought a lot of publicity to your building over the years.
Oh, yeah. I think it's great. When the DEC called me and asked me if we would host it, host the nesting box, I couldn't believe it. I was thrilled. I jumped on it, and it does bring a lot of attention when they start to nest and the birds start to hatch. It's interesting to see the people on the Broad Street Bridge. They've got laptops, they're on their phone, they're blogging, they've got their iPads, huge lenses on their cameras. It's energizing.
It really is. I've seen what you're talking about before, and I've always thought, what are they focusing on? And then I remember one time I stopped and I asked someone, they said, it's the falcons. And I just thought, oh my goodness. So that's why then there was such sadness when Bronx, the fledgling falcon didn't make it. So there's at least two or three others that did, though, right?
They did, yep. Okay. People say they see them in the sky all the time. They're always around. And I know on the Audubon Facebook page, our Falcon Cam Facebook page, spotters, just average folks are blogging constantly, telling everyone where they are.
It's a good little home they got set up there, huh? Kind of hard to beat in the wild.
Got the best view in the city. Good for them.
Well, we really appreciate your time, Richard. Thanks for joining us to talk to us about it. And yeah, definitely sad, but the good news is the falcons, there are other falcons. They will live on, and they have legions of fans who are going to be watching them throughout the years and continuing to watch those falcons take flight.
Indeed.
Yeah, really great talking to you. And it's just, like you said, they're a wild bird, but they love to live in Rochester. They'd rather be in Rochester, too. Thank you, Richard.
Absolutely. Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, coming up with wedding season